Chapter 1490. This time, even a 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert was involved. This showed how determined Yin Feng was to kill Lu Ming. Killing a fellow disciple? How ridiculous, my junior brother only killed a piece of trash. What's the big deal? It's only a waste of resources to let him stay in the Dragon Valley. It's better to kill him now, Xuaningxin said coldly. The crowd stared with their eyes open wide. What kind of logic was that? This was really too domineering, too arrogant. You, the 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert, and Yin Feng were stunned. They had no idea how to respond to Xuaningxin's words. She was being unreasonable. Now, piss off. Otherwise, I'll kick you out one by one, Xuaningxin snapped. Xuaningxin, it seems like you're going to interfere today. I'll take you down too, the 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert said coldly as a terrifying aura burst out from his body, suppressing Xuaningxin's figure. Bang! A powerful aura burst out from Xuaningxin's body too. 5th-layer martial dominator realm. Everyone could tell that Xuaningxin's cultivation was only at the 5th-layer martial dominator realm, but her aura was extremely shocking, as she was able to face the 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert head-on. Thousand Mountain Fist. Kill. The 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert uttered a roar as he stepped forward and threw a punch in Xuaningxin's direction. As the punch was thrown, it felt like a huge mountain had appeared in the sky, crushing down onto Xuaningxin. Roar. At that instant, a shocking dragon cry could be heard from Xuaningxin's figure, causing her aura to grow stronger. Xuaningxin threw a punch forward too. Xuaningxin's fist seemed to have turned into ice, exuding a terrifying chill. Bang! Xuaningxin's punch collided with the mountain. A terrifying explosion took place at the scene. Following this, the mountain was frozen before exploding, causing a terrifying icy aura to spread in all directions. The temperature of the place dropped rapidly. Those with weaker cultivations shuddered as their bodies were covered in a layer of frost. The 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert and Xuaningxin both shuddered and were knocked backward. How powerful! Monster! Many people thought the same thing and looked at Xuaningxin in shock. Lu Ming's eyes also revealed a look of surprise. Xuaningxin's combat ability was beyond his imagination. Xuaningxin was only a cultivator of the 5th Huang Qi layer, but she was able to fight against a cultivator of the 7th Huang Qi layer. A cultivator of the 7th Huang Qi layer was already a high-level Huang Qi layer. In a sect like the Dragon God Valley, a high-level martial monarch was already considered a middle-level power. Again, Xuaningxin retreated with excitement in her eyes. A dragon's roar came from her body and a white shadow of a snow dragon appeared above her head. This senior sister is really warlike. Lu Ming could not help but think. He remembered the first time he met Xuaningxin. Xuaningxin punched him without any warning. Stop! Just then, an old man appeared in the sky. His powerful aura filled the entire place, causing everyone to feel a terrifying pressure on their bodies. A Saint Realm expert. Without a doubt, the old man in the sky was a Saint Realm expert. The old man was wearing a long robe with a golden dragon on it, similar to what the people of the Dragon Punishing Palace were wearing. The Elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace. Greetings, Elder. As expected, the young men of the Dragon Punishing Palace greeted the old man. The others followed suit. As soon as the Elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace arrived, Xuaningxin and the 7th-layer Huang Qi layer stopped fighting. What's going on? The Elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace asked with a frown. Previously, he had been informed that many experts of the Dragon Punishing Palace had gathered at the Cloud Dragon Valley, thus he had immediately rushed over and witnessed the battle between Xuaningxin and the experts of the Dragon Punishing Palace. Elder, I'm Yin Feng, the grandson of the Silver Dragon Valley's leader. Yin Feng was the first to announce his name. He then said, "This is what happened. This Lu Ming killed his fellow disciples and stole their treasures. He has committed a heinous crime. The senior brothers of the Dragon Punishing Palace and I are going to capture him." Killed his fellow disciples? The eyes of the Elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace flickered coldly as he glanced at Lu Ming and said, "Is that true?" Yin Feng's dog mouth is just randomly biting people, Lu Ming said calmly. Lu Ming, what did you say? Yin Feng glared at Lu Ming. How dare Lu Ming call him a dog? Dog, silver dog. Lu Ming said calmly. Yin Feng's face darkened as he brought his fists together toward the elder of the dragon punishing palace and said, Elder, this man has killed his fellow disciples. The evidence is clear. I've already sent someone to collect the evidence. I hope you can handle it fairly. Otherwise, the people of the Dragon God Valley will be disappointed. Lu Ming, what do you have to say? The elder of the dragon punishing palace glanced at Lu Ming. Of course I have something to say, as Xu Long is being controlled by someone. Afterward, Lu Ming recounted the mission of this trip to him. This time, he explained it more clearly than the last time. Of course, Lu Ming skipped over some important points or modified them slightly. For example, the Demon Soul Elder had chased after Lu Ming and had his physical body destroyed by Lu Ming with the prison-suppressing Steely. Lu Ming did not mention this point. He only said that the other party had been seriously injured and could not catch up to him. What did you say? The evil spirit sect. When Lu Ming finished speaking, a terrifying aura spread out from the elder of the dragon punishing palace, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Yes, elder. Lu Ming bowed, but he was shocked in his heart. When Lu Ming mentioned the evil spirit sect, fear appeared in the eyes of this sage realm elder. This kind of fear was the same as Xu Long's back then. It was reverence from the bottom of his heart. He swept his gaze again and discovered that many disciples of the Dragon God Valley also revealed fear in their eyes after hearing about the evil spirit sect. An elder of the evil spirit sect is actually still alive. Could it be that the evil spirit sect is going to rise from the ashes? The elder of the dragon punishing palace muttered to himself, the fear in his eyes growing stronger. Lu Ming, nonsense. The evil spirit sect was wiped out by the combined forces of countless factions on the continent 80,000 years ago. What evil spirit sect elder? Living for 80,000 years? It's all bullshit. Now, there is no proof. You can make up whatever you want. Yin Feng shouted, his eyes flashing with a sinister look. Today, he had to take this opportunity to kill Lu Ming. At the very least, he had to cripple Lu Ming's cultivation. Lu Ming, do you have any witnesses for everything you said? Do you have evidence to prove that everything you said is true? Can you prove your innocence? The elder of the dragon punishing palace took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He looked at Lu Ming again. The evidence is very simple. There are still many people in the Feng family alive. There must be someone who knows the inside story. Find the people of the Feng family and ask them. Then, you will know whether what I said is true or false. Chapter 1491. Hee hee. At this moment, Yin Feng let out a hollow laugh and said, I don't think there's a need to go to the Feng clan. I've already brought my men there, but I found out that the Feng clan had been massacred. After saying this, Yin Feng's icy gaze glanced at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you're so ruthless and decisive, leaving no evidence behind. The meaning behind his words was clear. Yin Feng was referring to the fact that Lu Ming had massacred the Feng clan. The Feng clan had been massacred. Lu Ming glanced at Yin Feng, his eyes flickering coldly. Needless to say, the Feng clan had been massacred by Yin Feng, as he was afraid that Lu Ming would ask the Feng clan to testify against Lu Ming's words. Such a ruthless move, to deal with Lu Ming. He had massacred the Feng clan, and now he was accusing Lu Ming of massacring the Feng clan. A cold grin appeared on Yin Feng's face as he glanced at Lu Ming with a mocking gaze. Chumph, let's see how you're going to prove yourself. Yin Feng laughed coldly in his heart. Yin Feng, you've really put in a lot of effort to deal with me, massacring the Feng clan, destroying the evidence, and framing me. I know you hate me. Previously, I stepped on your face 9 times in front of everyone. In the Tsangdi secret ground, you were beaten to the point where you were forced to kneel in front of me. It's understandable that you're trying to take revenge on me. Lu Ming let out a faint smile, casually pushing the blame to Yin Feng, saying that Yin Feng had framed him in order to take revenge on him. Bullshit. Yin Feng's face turned dark. Bullshit, many people saw it. How am I bullshitting? If you're so capable, kill them all. Lu Ming let out a faint smile. The elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace frowned his eyebrows. Both Lu Ming and Yin Feng had their own reasons. He did not know who to listen to. Elder, Yin Feng hired a fellow disciple to tamper with the mission, intending to have Shu Long, Duan Yang, and the others kill me during the mission. After that, he massacred the entire Feng family and framed me. This person is insane, he must be punished severely. Lu Ming cupped his fists at the Dragon Punishing Palace's elder, putting Yin Feng in a checkmate. You're talking nonsense. You're slandering me, Yin Feng roared. Slander. If you want to know the truth, it's very simple. As long as I take you down and search your soul, the truth will naturally come to light, Lu Ming said as he strode towards Yin Feng. What do you want? You want to kill me to silence me? Yin Feng shouted. Stop. A figure stepped forward and stood in front of Lu Ming. It was the 7th layer Martial Dominator Realm young man from the Dragon Punishing Palace. Your opponent is me. Xuaningxin appeared and threw a punch at the young man of the Dragon Punishing Palace. The young man from the Dragon Punishment Palace had no choice but to fight Xuaningxin. On the other hand, Lu Ming continued to move toward Yin Feng. Attack, attack, kill this man, Yin Feng yelled. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The young men who had followed Yin Feng here lunged at Lu Ming. Piss off. Lu Ming let out a roar as the black feather wings appeared. With a flap, 5 young men were sent flying while vomiting mouthfuls of blood. In the air, the elder of the Dragon Punishing Palace raised his eyebrows. He was about to intervene when a voice entered his ears, causing his figure to come to a stop. Bang! Lu Ming cast the Wind Essence skill. With a step, his speed increased tremendously as he dashed toward Yin Feng. Go back. Kill. At least 10 young men dashed toward Lu Ming. Some of them were peak 5th layer Martial Dominator Realm experts. Buzz. The 3rd grade chaotic domain was unleashed, encapsulating the young men within it. The young men instantly felt a terrifying pressure crushing their bodies, as if their bones were about to break. Those with weaker cultivations fell to the ground and vomited mouthfuls of blood. Following this, Lu Ming lashed out a punch with a terrifying force, sending a few peak Martial Dominator Realm experts flying. Many among the crowd inhaled deeply. Lu Ming was only a 2nd layer Martial Dominator Realm expert, but even a peak 5th layer Martial Dominator Realm expert was no match for Lu Ming, and was sent flying by Lu Ming's attack. Lu Ming's figure approached Yin Feng at lightning speed. Yin Feng's face turned pale as he frantically backed off. He had not expected Lu Ming to be so daring as to try to search his soul. If he were to search his soul, the truth would be revealed. There was no way he would let Lu Ming capture him. However, Lu Ming's speed was too fast. The young men who had followed him had no chance of stopping Lu Ming. Son of a bitch, don't you dare. At this moment, a furious bellow could be heard from the depths of the sky. The voice was like that of a deity. Then, a big hand reached down from the clouds and grabbed Lu Ming. The terrifying pressure froze Lu Ming in place, rendering Lu Ming immobile. Valley Master Yinlong. Lu Ming yelled furiously. Lu Ming could tell that the person who had attacked him was Valley Master Yinlong. A dignified Valley Master actually attacked Lu Ming, a junior. Yin Zheng, you're getting worse and worse. How dare you attack my disciple in front of the Cloud Dragon Valley? Do you think I'm invisible? A gentle voice could be heard from the depths of the Cloud Dragon Valley. Following that, a sword ray shot out explosively and slashed down at the enormous hand. The enormous hand was directly cleaved into 2, and then burst apart. Yun Ruoxu. A thunderous voice could be heard from high up in the sky. Following this, a silver light flashed and an old man appeared. It was Valley Master Yinlong. When Valley Master Yinlong appeared, he looked into the depths of the Cloud Dragon Valley. In the Cloud Dragon Valley, an old man stepped on the clouds. It was Valley Master Yinlong. Ming-er, do what you have to do. When Valley Master Yinlong appeared, his voice could be heard. His intention was clear. He wanted Lu Ming to continue taking down Yin Feng. Junior, how dare you? Valley Master Yinlong looked coldly at Lu Ming. I'm so scared. Lu Ming pursed his lips and flapped his black wings. With a gust of wind, He charged towards Yin Feng. "Grandfather, save me!" Yin Feng screamed. "How dare you!" Valley Master Yinlong roared, and a terrifying dragon roar could be heard from his body. A silver-white light shot up into the sky and his aura was terrifying. "Yin Zheng, if you want to fight, I'll accompany you." Valley Master Yinlong took a step forward and suddenly appeared in front of Valley Master Yinlong. He slashed his sword at Valley Master Yinlong. The slash was simple, but Valley Master Yinlong's expression changed. Silver light exploded and he fought Valley Master Yinlong. Boom! When the two of them clashed, the entire sky seemed to be split apart by the sword light and silver light. The vast aura made everyone breathless. Is this the strength of the Valley Master? He's so strong. Many people were shocked. "Let's fight." Valley Master Yinlong's voice could be heard as he charged into the void with Valley Master Yinlong. As for Lu Ming, he continued to charge towards Yin Feng. The few youths who were protecting Yin Feng were sent flying. No matter how fast Yin Feng retreated, his speed was much slower than Lu Ming's. Shua! Lu Ming appeared in front of Yin Feng and his chaotic domain crushed down on him. Yin Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 1492. At this time, the great battle in the sky attracted almost everyone's attention. After Lu Ming took down Yin Feng, he looked at the sky. The battle in the sky was intense and had reached its climax. A ball of silver light and a ray of sword light clashed. The roar of a dragon pierced through the sky. Suddenly, the sword light shone brightly and the silver light was extinguished. Then, a figure retreated and appeared in the sky above the crowd. It was Valley Master Yinlong. There was a deep sword wound on Valley Master Yinlong's chest. The wound went straight to his heart and one could see his heart beating. Valley Master Yinlong's body shone with silver light. His muscles twitched as he tried to heal the wound. However, there were countless tiny rays of sword chi on the wound that were destroying his muscles. It was difficult for him to heal immediately. Fart! Valley Master Yinlong's face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Everyone at the scene couldn't help but widen their eyes and suck in a cold breath. Valley Master Yinlong had been defeated and injured by Valley Master Yunlong. If the sword had been a little deeper, it would have pierced Valley Master Yinlong's heart. More importantly, Valley Master Yinlong had been defeated in such a short time. Clearly, there was a huge difference between his combat strength and Valley Master Yunlong's. Valley Master Yunlong stepped down from the sky and his sword chi soared into the sky. He exuded a terrifying aura and said in a dignified voice, "Do you think I'm easy to deal with when you barged into Cloud Dragon Valley? Yin Zhang, I'll let you live this time. If there's a next time, I'll kill you." Valley Master Yinlong's face turned ugly. He looked at Valley Master Yunlong with fear and disbelief. The others couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Valley Master Yunlong had always given people the impression that he was gentle. No one had expected him to be so powerful. He was so domineering and said that he would kill Valley Master Yinlong if there was a next time. Valley Master Yinlong was a Valley Master. More importantly, Valley Master Yinlong did not dare to refute him. Everyone had to re-evaluate Cloud Dragon Valley. The Cloud Dragon Valley was a newly established dragon valley in the Divine Dragon Valley. It had the fewest members and was considered the weakest. But was that true? Other things aside, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master was unfathomable. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master continued, "If my disciple is innocent, no one will be able to frame him. Today, I will personally search his soul to see the truth." With that, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley took a step forward and appeared beside Lu Ming. "Grandfather!" Yin Feng cried out in shock. "Yun Ruoxu, don't go too far. Enough is enough," Valley Master Silver Dragon said. "Ridiculous." The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes were cold as he said, "Know when to stop. You brought your men and fought your way into my Cloud Dragon Valley. Even you, the Valley Master, want to personally deal with a new disciple like me. Now, you're telling me to stop before going too far?" Valley Master Silver Dragon's face was gloomy and he had nothing to say. The others also shook their heads secretly. That's right. Previously, it had been Yin Feng who had led his men to force their way into Cloud Dragon Valley. He had insisted that Lu Ming had killed his fellow disciples and wanted to take Lu Ming away. In the end, when they were no match for him, Valley Master Yin Feng had taken the initiative to attack. To put it bluntly, Cloud Dragon Valley was only retaliating. Soul Search. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley yelled and a ray of light burst forth from his palm. He then reached out and tapped Yin Feng's forehead with his finger. Yin Feng cried out and his body instantly stiffened as his gaze became unfocused. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley had personally started the soul search. A moment later, the Valley Master of Cloud Space's eyes flickered sharply as he said, "Today, I'll reveal the truth." With that, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley's other hand glowed and a crystal appeared. Memory Crystal. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The Memory Crystal was a rare treasure. During the soul search, it could project the memories of the person whose soul was being searched into an image so that others could see it. The memory crystal glowed and an image appeared in the sky. In a courtyard, a young man stood with his hands behind his back. It was Yin Feng himself. There were 3 other people who bowed respectfully before Yin Feng. "That's Xu Long." "That's right. The other 2 are Duan Yang and Fu Xing," someone blurted out as he recognized the people in the image. At that instant, Yin Feng calmly spoke, "I've already arranged the mission with a few deacons of the quest hall. You will follow Lu Ming and find a chance to assassinate Lu Ming in the process of the mission, regardless of the method used." "Yes, don't worry, Master Yin Feng. I'll make sure this Lu Ming dies without anyone knowing. No one will be suspicious as long as we claim that he was killed during the mission." Xu Long let out a hollow laugh as his eyes flickered. "Don't worry, a mere first-layer martial dominator realm ant will be killed as easily as crushing an ant. I'm sure we'll succeed." Duan Yang and Fu Xing spoke one after another, before discussing the details of the mission. Upon seeing this, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley wore a dark expression. Meanwhile, the others came to a realization. It seemed like Lu Ming was telling the truth. It was all because Yin Feng wanted to kill Lu Ming. He had arranged for someone to kill him during the mission, thus Lu Ming had retaliated and killed Xu Long. At this moment, the scene suddenly changed to another scene. This time, it was not about Lu Ming. Yin Feng was planning something else to deal with someone else. Damn it, so my little sister was killed by Yin Feng. To think that I still believed him. A young man among the crowd suddenly yelled with bloodshot eyes. "Shut up." The Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley glanced at the young man with a cold murderous intent. The young man's face turned unpleasant as he clenched his teeth, not daring to say a word. "Yin Zheng, what a strong breeze. Let's continue watching." The Cloud Dragon Valley Master smiled faintly, and the image projected by the memory crystal changed again. It was another plot of Yin Feng's. After watching it, the scene changed again. Following this, more than 10 images were displayed, showing how Yin Feng had harmed the other disciples of the Dragon God Valley and even used his authority to humiliate the female disciples of the Dragon God Valley. "Ah, my family, they're all Yin Feng. My sister." A few furious roars came from the crowd. They were the family members of those who had been harmed by Yin Feng. No one knew about it before, but now it was all exposed. Finally, the image changed to a mansion. Yin Feng was leading a group of people to massacre the people in the mansion. "The Feng clan," Lu Ming yelled as he recognized the Feng clan's mansion. The people of the Feng clan fell before Yin Feng. Some of them were elderly and children. Some of them did not even practice martial arts, but they were all killed by Yin Feng. In the end, no one was spared. The Feng clan was burned to the ground. "Lu Ming, let's see how you're going to defend yourself this time." Chapter 1493. The truth had been revealed. Previously, Yin Feng had said that the Feng family had been killed by Lu Ming. That was a lie. In fact, the Feng family had been destroyed by Yin Feng and he had framed Lu Ming. From the beginning to the end, Yin Feng had wanted to frame Lu Ming and harm Lu Ming. What a vicious junior. You think you can do such things just because you have a good grandfather? Haha. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master sneered and kept the memory crystal with a wave of his hand. The image disappeared. As for Yin Feng, He sat weakly on the ground as if he had been drained of all his energy. He only regained his senses after a long while. "Grandfather, save me," Yin Feng cried out loudly after regaining his senses. "Shut up." The Silver Dragon Valley Master shouted coldly to shut Yin Feng up. He then said, "I have been in seclusion for the past few years. I have neglected this grandson of mine. Now, hand him over to me. I will bring him back and discipline him strictly." "Discipline him strictly? What a joke." Lu Ming's mocking voice sounded as he continued, "Do you think you can get rid of Yin Feng's crimes by saying that you will discipline him strictly?" The Silver Dragon Valley Master's eyes were cold as he looked at Lu Ming and said, "Then what do you want?" "Yin Feng's crimes are related to the entire Dragon God Valley. He must be punished according to the sect rules." At this point, Lu Ming cupped his fists toward the elder of the Dragon Punishment Hall and said, "Elder, everyone saw what Yin Feng did just now. He is simply deranged and infuriating. According to the rules of the Divine Dragon Valley, how should we deal with such behavior?" The Dragon Punishing Palace elder hesitated, squeaking. Yin Feng was the grandson of the Silver Dragon Valley Master, but Lu Ming was also the core disciple of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. With so many witnesses, he did not know what to do at the moment. The Dragon Punishing Palace must be impartial. Otherwise, what's the point of having the Dragon Punishing Palace? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said coldly. Many pairs of eyes looked towards the Dragon Punishing Palace elder. In the end, the Dragon Punishing Palace elder gritted his teeth and said, "Yin Feng's crimes are chilling. He should be executed as a warning to others." Boom. Hearing this, Valley Master Silver Dragon's aura went berserk. A beam of silver light shot into the sky. However, Yin Feng's expression changed drastically as he shouted, "No, no, grandfather, save me. If he needs to be beheaded, then let me behead him." Lu Ming shouted, his true essence burst forth, condensing into a battle sword. "Lu Ming, you dare?" Valley Master Silver Dragon roared furiously. "Why wouldn't I?" Lu Ming took a step forward. His battle sword cut through the void and slashed out horizontally. Puff! Yin Feng's head flew far away, blood splattering everywhere. A spiritual deity appeared from Yin Feng's body in an incomparably terrified manner. However, the battle sword once again slashed out. Yin Feng's spiritual deity issued an unwilling blood-curdling scream as it turned into ashes. Feng Silver Dragon Valley Master was enraged. Murderous intent surged from his body as he reached out a hand, wanting to kill Lu Ming. Swoosh! A terrifying sword radiance shot out from Valley Master Yun Long's hand and destroyed the hand. Valley Master Silver Dragon frantically retreated, but the sword radiance did not stop. Instead, it grew with the wind and turned into a sword radiance the size of a mountain, crushing towards Valley Master Silver Dragon. Valley Master Silver Dragon roared furiously. His body was covered in silver light as he punched out continuously. After at least 100 punches, he finally managed to block the sword radiance. However, there were several hideous sword wounds on his body. Puff puff, Valley Master Silver Dragon spat out mouthfuls of blood as his face turned pale. So powerful. So powerful. Many people's hearts trembled. Valley Master Yun Long was too powerful. Valley Master Silver Dragon and Valley Master Yun Long were both Valley Masters of Dragon God Valley, but they seemed to be no match for Valley Master Yun Long. "Yin Zheng, if you dare to attack my disciple again, I, Yun Ruoxu, will kill you even if I have to go to heaven or hell." Valley Master Yun Long's hair fluttered in the wind as his eyes pierced towards Valley Master Silver Dragon like two divine swords. Valley Master Silver Dragon's face darkened. He was filled with murderous intent, but he did not dare to attack again. He had no doubt that if he really attacked Lu Ming again, Yun Ruoxu, this lunatic, would really kill him. "I will take Yin Feng's body away," Valley Master Silver Dragon said after a while. "Take it away and get out of my sight." Valley Master Yun Long waved his hand and said. Valley Master Silver Dragon waved his hand and took Yin Feng's body away. He then stepped out without saying a word and disappeared from the place. At this moment, many people present were filled with complicated emotions. At the beginning, Yin Feng had come aggressively with his men to kill Lu Ming. However, He had not expected to lose his life here. Things changed so quickly that no one could predict it. Well done. Some people roared in their hearts. They were satisfied with the outcome. Many people knew that Yin Feng was a bully and had done many evil things. However, Yin Feng's grandfather was Valley Master Silver Dragon, an overlord of Dragon God Valley. Who would dare to say anything? They did not dare to say anything. Now that Yin Feng had been killed, everyone was satisfied. Especially a few people who had just found out that Yin Feng had killed their family members from the memory crystal. They were so excited that their bodies trembled. The Dragon Punishment Palace should be reorganized. How could you be used by Yin Feng? Valley Master Yun Long glanced at the Elder of the Dragon Punishment Palace. The Elder of the Dragon Punishment Palace immediately said, Valley Master Yun Long is right. The Dragon Punishment Palace must be reorganized. He then looked sharply at the youths of the Dragon Punishment Palace and scolded, Why aren't you apologizing to Lu Ming? Those young men were trembling with fear and they hurried to apologize to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He did not care about these people and was too lazy to deal with them. The Mission Palace as well. Hihi, very good. They even dare to tamper with the sect's missions. It seems that many people do not care about me anymore after I have not drawn my sword for so many years. Valley Master Yun Long sneered and took a step forward. He disappeared from the place. This is troublesome. Let's go back to the Dragon Punishment Palace. The Elder of the Dragon Punishment Palace shouted and left with the people of the Dragon Punishment Palace. Soon, a shocking piece of news spread in the Dragon God Valley. The Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley was enraged by what had happened to his disciple, Lu Ming. He went to the mission hall and killed a few wardens who were involved in Lu Ming's matter on the spot. If the Valley Master of the Dragon God Valley had not arrived in time, one of the elders in the mission hall would have been killed by the Valley Master. In the end, the Valley Master of the Dragon God Valley had to mediate the situation. Only then did the Valley Master Yun Long leave. After this incident, the Cloud Dragon Valley was redefined in many people's hearts. The Valley Master Yun Long was too strong and domineering. He injured the Valley Master Yun Long, went to the Mission Palace and killed a few deacons. He even needed the Valley Master of the Dragon God Valley to deal with this matter. Many people now knew that the Valley Master Yun Long was so strong. Many older people shook their heads and smiled bitterly. It would be strange if that madman was not strong. It was just that the madman's sword had not been drawn for many years. Many people had forgotten about the Valley Master Yun Long. The Valley Master Yun Long deserved it for provoking that madman. Chapter 1494. In a cave in the depths of Cloud Dragon Valley, Lu Ming stood in front of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Ming, did you really meet someone from the evil spirit sect? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master asked with a grave expression. That's right. That person is called Elder Demon Soul. I heard from him that he was severely injured 80,000 years ago and has yet to recover. Otherwise, my disciple would most likely be in danger, Lu Ming said. 80,000 years ago. Sigh, I didn't expect that there would still be remnants of the evil spirit sect. In addition, you met the soul-extinguishing king in the arch-mystic realm. Could it be that the evil spirit sect is going to rise from the ashes? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master sighed, and his expression became more and more grave. Lu Ming was surprised. Why did everyone have such a shocked expression when they heard about the evil spirit sect? For example, the Silver Dragon Valley Master even revealed a look of fear. Even someone as powerful as his master had such a grave expression. Master, what kind of faction is the evil spirit sect? What kind of faction is it? Is it very powerful? Lu Ming asked a few questions out of curiosity. Powerful, of course very powerful. If it was at its peak, it could easily destroy the entire Kang state. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said solemnly. Easily destroy the entire Kang state. Lu Ming was shocked. There were countless factions in Kang state. There were 13 top sects, and each of them had unfathomable strength. For example, Lu Ming couldn't see how powerful the Dragon God Valley was or how many powerful cultivators were hidden in the depths of the vast snowy mountains. The evil spirit sect could easily destroy so many powerful factions. The peak of the evil spirit sect was 80,000 years ago. At that time, the evil spirit sect was extremely powerful and famous. They had a sect master and 2 vice-sect masters, and they were all top cultivators in the Yuan continent. In addition, there were 36 guardian kings and 360 elders. Their strength was extremely terrifying. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master explained. 36 guardian kings? Lu Ming's pupils constricted as he thought of the soul-extinguishing king. Master, could it be that the guardian kings were all Theurges? Lu Ming's voice was a little dry. That's right. The Origin Dragon Valley Master nodded and said, the evil spirit sect has 36 guardian kings, all of whom are emperors. The 360 elders are all powerful existences in the sage realm. Lu Ming gasped a breath of cold air. The evil spirit sect's strength far exceeded his imagination. Did he offend such a powerful force? They hunt Theurges and those who have the potential to become Theurges. Lu Ming was shocked, but he was puzzled. Master, why did the evil spirit sect do that? I don't know. No one knows why the evil spirit sect did that. Maybe some Theurges knew, but they didn't announce it. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master shook his head and said, therefore, the evil spirit sect caused all the forces in the Yuan continent to panic. In the end, countless forces, big and small, joined forces to kill the evil spirit sect. According to the records, the battle was so intense that the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless sage realm cultivators died in the battle, and even many Theurges fell. But in the end, the evil spirit sect was completely annihilated and disappeared from the world. Lu Ming was silent for a long time after hearing the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's words. The evil spirit sect was definitely a terrifying force. They specialized in killing Theurges and those who had the potential to become Theurges. He finally knew why so many people were terrified when they heard the name of the evil spirit sect. Lu Ming thought of many things. He thought of what he had encountered in the Kang the Arch-mystic realm. The Kang the Arch had disappeared 60,000 years ago. In fact, it was because the Soul Annihilation King had killed his way into the Kang the Arch-mystic realm. Looking at the time, the evil spirit sect had already been wiped out. But it was obvious that the Soul Annihilation King hadn't died. He had killed his way into the Kang the Arch-mystic realm and fought against the Kang the Arch for 60,000 years. Since the Soul Annihilation King hadn't died and Elder Demon Soul had survived, then did the evil spirit sect have other powerful cultivators who had survived? After 80,000 years, would the evil spirit sect rise from the ashes? A wisp of Elder Demon Soul's soul escaped and told Lu Ming to wait for the evil spirit sect's revenge. Could it be that the evil spirit sect was going to reappear in the world? Lu Ming felt a strong pressure on his body. It would be strange if he didn't feel pressure when facing such a terrifying force. Ming-er, go back and cultivate. I will report the matter of the evil spirit sect to the Valley Master and let him inform the other sects to discuss it together. Finally, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master instructed. I will take my leave. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's cave abode to return to his own. After returning to his cave abode, Lu Ming meditated for a while before taking out a pile of origin stones and starting to devour and refine them. His chaotic domain had already broken through to the 3rd level. As long as he continued to refine origin stones, his cultivation level would increase. Over the next few days, Lu Ming cultivated in seclusion and refined the origin stones. His cultivation level advanced by leaps and bounds. From the early stage of the 2nd-level Martial Emperor realm to the mid-stage of the 2nd-level Martial Emperor realm, then the late stage, and finally the peak. 7 days later, Lu Ming's cultivation level broke through to the 3rd-level Martial Emperor realm. Only then did Lu Ming stop devouring and refining the origin stones. Next, it was time to focus on comprehending the chaotic domain. Lu Ming didn't dare to waste any time. He really felt that his cultivation level was too low in the Yuan continent. He had to raise his cultivation level as soon as possible. However, comprehending the chaotic domain was not something that could be done in a short period of time. First, he had to pay a visit to the treasured dragon palace to exchange for some treasures. Lu Ming left his cave abode and headed to the treasured dragon palace. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the treasured dragon palace and went to the counter where he had exchanged the 10,000 spiritual liquid and the dragon bone. "Senior, do you still remember me?" Lu Ming greeted him with a smile. "It's you. Young man, are you here to exchange for treasures again?" The old man at the counter said with a smile. He had a deep impression of Lu Ming. After all, not every first-layer martial emperor realm cultivator had 2 million contribution points. "Senior, I would like to exchange some treasures for contribution point," Lu Ming said. "Oh, take them out and let me have a look," the old man said with a smile. Lu Ming handed a storage ring to the old man. Lu Ming scanned the ring with his spiritual sense and raised his eyebrows. "Impressive, young man. A sacred weapon and 5 martial emperors." Lu Ming nodded with a smile. Chapter 1495. Bright Sacred Weapon is an ordinary bright sacred weapon, worth 1 million contribution points. 5 Emperor Spiritual Weapons worth 50,000 contribution points. A total of 1,050,000 contribution points. "Little guy, give me your identity token," the old man said. Lu Ming handed his identity token to the old man. In the next moment, 1,050,000 contribution points appeared in Lu Ming's identity token. Together with the 50,000 contribution points he had before, he had a total of 1,100,000 contribution points. "Little guy, what treasure do you want to exchange for?" the old man asked. "Senior, do you have any glove-type sacred weapons here?" Lu Ming asked. He had always wanted to buy a glove-type sacred weapon as it would give him a huge commission for close combat. Due to the bloodline of the Divine Dragon Valley, there are many people who cultivate fist, palm and finger techniques. Hence, there are many glove-type weapons. Therefore, the Treasure Dragon Palace doesn't have any glove-type sacred weapons for now. Moreover, glove-type sacred weapons are more complicated and difficult to refine. Hence, they are 2 to 3 times more expensive than ordinary sacred weapons. The old man shook his head and explained. "So expensive?" Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Glove-type sacred weapons were 2 to 3 times more expensive than ordinary sacred weapons. Even if the Treasure Dragon Palace did have one, they wouldn't be able to afford it. Lu Ming shook his head. He would have to think of a way to get a glove-type sacred weapon in the future. He would exchange for something else first. Lu Ming had an idea and said, "Senior, I would like to exchange for some spiritual materials. Purple flame crystal, dragon carp, fire spiritual root." Lu Ming told the old man the 7 main materials to refine the Nirvana elixir. This was the Yuan continent. He might be able to collect those materials and refine the Nirvana elixir when he returned to the Divine Wilderness. "Little guy, are you trying to refine the Nirvana elixir?" the old man asked. Lu Ming was shocked. This old man also knew about the Nirvana elixir. Moreover, he knew about the Nirvana elixir when Lu Ming mentioned the spiritual materials. Did he have the recipe for the Nirvana elixir as well? "Little guy, you might as well exchange for the Nirvana elixir directly," the old man continued. "Exchange for the Nirvana elixir directly? Nirvana elixir exchange here?" Lu Ming could not help but ask. "Haha, of course. The Nirvana elixir isn't some precious elixir. Almost every sect in the Yuanlu continent has it. Even many small clans and forces have it. It is used to raise the bloodline grade of the younger generation and enhance their talent," the old man said with a smile. Lu Ming was speechless. The Nirvana elixir, which he regarded as a treasure, was actually a common commodity in the Yuanlu. Thinking about it, it made sense. There were too many prodigies in the Yuan continent. For a large sect like the Dragon God Valley, the lowest requirement for recruiting disciples was to awaken a level 9 divine class bloodline. Many people who had awakened a level 9 divine class bloodline couldn't even join a large sect like the Dragon God Valley. Therefore, the Nirvana elixir was not a rare elixir in the Yuan continent. Lu Ming guessed that the Nirvana elixir recipe that he had obtained in the Divine Desolate continent might have been brought back by a sovereign from the Yuan continent. It was very common in the Yuan continent, but it was priceless in the divine wilderness continent. Senior, then I'll directly exchange for Nirvana pills. I wonder how many contribution points one pill costs? Lu Ming asked. One pill costs 10,000 middle-grade origin stones, which is 100 contribution points each, the old man said. So cheap. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he smiled bitterly in his heart. In the divine wilderness continent, the Nirvana elixir that could make all the forces go crazy was really cheap here. And sovereign-class spiritual weapon could be exchanged for 100 of them. Senior, I'll exchange for 1,000 pills. Do you have any? Lu Ming asked. If he brought 1,000 pills back to the divine wilderness continent, how many prodigies would the Dragon Alliance produce? Yes, there are plenty of Nirvana elixirs. The old man smiled and took out a storage ring and handed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. It contained the Nirvana elixir. Looking at the quality, it was much better than the ones he had refined in the past. This Nirvana elixir can raise one's bloodline by 3 to 4 levels or even more, the old man explained. Lu Ming's heart was burning with passion. He really hoped that he could immediately fly back to the divine wilderness continent and give these Nirvana elixirs to his family and friends. Lu Ming could not help but sigh. The cultivation level of the divine wilderness continent was too far from that of the Yuan continent. In the divine wilderness continent, it was a supreme treasure. In the Yuan continent, it was very likely to be a common commodity. Lu Ming kept the Nirvana elixir and the contribution points on his identity token decreased by 100,000. He was left with 1,000,000 contribution points. Senior, I'd like to exchange for 50 kilograms of 10,000 spirit liquid. Lu Ming thought for a moment and decided to exchange all his remaining contribution points for the 10,000 spirit liquid. He had originally wanted to exchange for a void-piercing flying shuttle, but after asking around, the price was even more shocking. He couldn't afford it at all. He might as well buy all the 10,000 spirits liquid and use it on the Tao Comprehension ancient tree to grow. During his trip to the Death Wasteland, he saw the Titan longhorn beetle sitting under the Enlightenment ancient tree. The Enlightenment ancient tree had left a deep impression on Lu Ming. It was as tall as the sky and covered the sun. On the tree branches, the great Tao lingered. If one cultivated under it and comprehended the great Tao of heaven and earth, the effects would definitely be shocking. That was the real Enlightenment ancient tree. Lu Ming's Enlightenment ancient tree could not be compared. Lu Ming was looking forward to the day when he could cultivate the Enlightenment ancient tree to such a scale. You exchanged for so much 10,000 spirit liquid? The old man was a little surprised. Why? You don't have it? Lu Ming asked. Yes, I am just a little surprised. Wait for me for a moment. The old man left the counter and soon returned. He gave Lu Ming a storage ring. There were 10 big bottles of 10,000 spirit liquid in it, which added up to 50 pounds. Lu Ming received it happily. The contribution points on his identity token had become 0. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He was really poor. Since he had exchanged for the treasures he needed, Lu Ming returned to the Cloud Dragon Valley. After returning to his cave, Lu Ming entered the mountain and river pattern. At the top of a mountain, the Enlightenment ancient tree swayed while emitting a heavenly Tao aura. Bubble was lying under the Enlightenment ancient tree while emitting a milky white glow. The space around her rippled like water. Bubble's cultivation had improved tremendously since she had obtained the time and space crystal from the Titan longhorn beetle. A few days ago, she had ranked up to the 3rd layer Martial Dominator realm. Now, she was trying to break through to the 4th layer Martial Dominator realm. Lu Ming let out a smile as he glanced at the Enlightenment ancient tree. During this period of time, the tree of enlightenment had grown tremendously. It had already sprouted 2 side branches and there were more than a dozen green leaves on them. Although it couldn't be compared to the Titan longhorn beetle's tree of enlightenment, it had grown many times over compared to when it had just arrived in the Yuan land. Lu Ming took out a jade jar and poured 5 kilograms of 10,000 spirit liquid onto the roots of the Enlightenment ancient tree. Following this, Lu Ming exited the mountain and river pattern. After exiting the mountain and river pattern, Lu Ming left the cave and headed deeper into the Cloud Dragon Valley. Lu Ming's target was the Cloud Dragon Valley Masters Library, which contained the Cloud Dragon Valley Masters cultivation experience. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the Cloud Dragon Valley Masters Library. Chapter 1496. For the next 10 days or so, Lu Ming stayed in the library, flipping through the books and reading the cultivation insights left behind by the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley in detail. Lu Ming was greatly inspired. After that, Lu Ming returned to his cave. A heavenly lore stone floated above Lu Ming's head. Lu Ming was deeply immersed in enlightenment. The heavenly lore stone would slowly shrink and disappear as the martial artist gained enlightenment. After a few days, when the heavenly lore stone disappeared, Lu Ming changed to another one. Lu Ming was immersed in cultivation. Of course, Lu Ming did not blindly comprehend the chaotic territory. Every day, he would spend some time cultivating the holy sword art. The holy sword art could strengthen one's soul and increase the strength of one's soul attacks. Lu Ming would definitely not neglect this secret skill. If he cultivated it to a high level, it would be of great help to Lu Ming. In addition, Lu Ming did not neglect the power-storing 13 strikes and the chaotic sky-flipping seal. He would cultivate them every day. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. On this day, Lu Ming stopped cultivating. It is indeed difficult to cultivate the chaotic territory. It is too slow to improve. Lu Ming sighed. He had been cultivating with the heavenly lore stone for 3 months. Until now, his chaotic territory had not even reached the peak of level 3, let alone level 4. One should know that he had the help of the heavenly lore stone. The heavenly lore stone was extremely precious. Even Sage Realm experts wanted it. Other Royal Realm martial artists would not have such a treasure to help them cultivate. Unless they were the top geniuses of some sect. However, they could also cultivate with the heavenly lore stone all the time like Lu Ming. In 3 months, he had used almost 30 heavenly lore stones, but his chaotic territory had not reached the peak of level 3. This showed how difficult it was to cultivate the chaotic territory. As the level of the chaotic territory increased, the difficulty of cultivation would continue to increase. Previously, he was able to improve rapidly because he had refined the 3 Emperor Realm fruits and watched the battle between the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 3-eyed creature. However, his improvement was slower now that he was cultivating normally. Other than the primal chaos domain, his progress in other aspects was extremely fast. Lu Ming had cultivated the power-storing 13 strikes to the 5th level. When he struck out with his long spear, 10 layers of power erupted at the same time. Its power was astonishing. It had become Lu Ming's strongest attack apart from the chaotic flipping sky seal. It was even stronger than when he used the hell-suppressing heaven art. It also allowed Lu Ming's attacking methods to have more variations. As for the chaotic flipping sky seal, it had advanced to the 3rd level. Not only was it more powerful, but Lu Ming could also use it more smoothly. As for the divine sword secret art, his progress was also very fast. Lu Ming's soul had already been refined by the world-refining tribulation bell. It was dozens of times stronger than an ordinary person's soul. It was simply too suitable for him to cultivate soul attacks. After this period of cultivation, Lu Ming's soul power had not only become stronger, but the offensive power of the divine sword art had also increased rapidly. Its power was astonishing. Lu Ming was very satisfied with these improvements. However, the primal chaos domain's improvement was too slow. I can't cultivate like this. I have to speed up. I heard that the heavenly floating platform of the Dragon God Valley can help one comprehend the heavenly Tao and cultivate the primal chaos domain. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming finished his cultivation and planned to make a trip to the heavenly floating platform. A large sect like the Dragon God Valley naturally had many wondrous places that could help people cultivate. The heavenly floating platform was such a cultivation holy land. It was extremely famous in the Dragon God Valley. The disciples of the Dragon God Valley only needed to pay an origin stone to be able to step on it. Lu Ming left the Cloud Dragon Valley and flew towards the depths of the snow mountain. Soon, Lu Ming landed in front of a canyon. The heavenly floating platform was in the middle of a few large snow mountains. Two of the snow mountains formed a canyon passage. If one wanted to enter the heavenly floating platform, they had to go through this passage. Stop right there. Just as Lu Ming was about to enter the passage, he was stopped by a few young men. What's the meaning of this? Lu Ming asked with a frown. As far as he knew, there was no one guarding the passage in front of the heavenly floating platform. Only after entering the passage would there be someone guarding it and paying the origin stone. The heavenly floating platform has been reserved by the people of the Silver Dragon Valley and the Blood Dragon Valley. You can come back later. One of the young men sneered. Reserved by the Silver Dragon Valley and the Blood Dragon Valley? The heavenly floating platform is the cultivation holy land of the Dragon God Valley. It's open to all disciples of the 7 valleys. I've never heard that it belongs to one of the Dragon Valleys. Move aside. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, what are you doing? I said it's reserved, so it's reserved. One of the young men blocked Lu Ming's path. You know me. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The young men's faces were cold as they sneered. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, 2 young men in snow-white robes with an ice dragon embroidered on them appeared. They were disciples of the Ice Dragon Valley. The 2 Ice Dragon Valley disciples did not stop them. They directly entered the passageway and disappeared. Lu Ming frowned and said, "Didn't you say that the heavenly floating platform has been reserved by the Silver Dragon Valley and the Blood Dragon Valley? Why can the people of the Ice Dragon Valley enter?" The few young men only stood in front of Lu Ming. There was a mocking smile in their eyes, but they did not speak. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. They must be deliberately making things difficult for him. They were obviously disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley. He had killed Yin Feng in front of the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley, so he had become enemies with the Silver Dragon Valley. However, these people were able to recognize him at a glance even though he had never seen them before. This made Lu Ming think of many things. Could it be that the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley had purposely sent people to stop Lu Ming from cultivating at the heavenly floating platform? Upon having this thought, Lu Ming's eyes flickered sharply as he took a step forward. Bang! 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 3 young men of the Silver Dragon Valley emitted powerful auras. They were all peak 4th layer martial dominators. Hold it right there. One of the young men snapped coldly as 3 streams of pressure landed on Lu Ming's figure. At this time, a few more people came over. When they saw this situation, they couldn't help but stop and watch. That's Lu Ming. Those are the disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley. This is going to be interesting. A few months ago, Lu Ming killed Yin Feng in front of the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley, which infuriated the Valley Master. I heard that after the Valley Master returned to the Silver Dragon Valley, he immediately gathered the young disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley and told them to take care of Lu Ming if they were to stumble into Lu Ming outside. The few people who were watching were discussing softly. Although their voices were soft, Lu Ming could still hear them clearly. Lu Ming's gaze became colder. As the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley, not only did he not teach his grandson a lesson after he had committed a heinous crime, he even tried to slander Lu Ming, resulting in his grandson being killed by Lu Ming. Now, he actually instigated the Silver Dragon Valley disciples to deal with Lu Ming. He was simply despicable and shameless. Chapter 1497. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as a powerful aura emanated from his body, crushing the aura of the 3 youths. Get lost. Afterward, Lu Ming hollered. With this roar, Lu Ming used the divine sword art. An invisible wave rushed towards the 3 youths and blasted into their spiritual deities. At this moment, the 3 youths' spiritual deities trembled violently as if they were hit by a hurricane. At the same time, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into a giant beast in their eyes. A terrifying aura pressed down on them. Their bodies trembled violently as they screamed and fell to the ground. Their bodies were drenched in cold sweat. The onlookers at the side were dumbfounded. Lu Ming's roar actually made the 3 youths from the Silver Dragon Valley fall to the ground. It was unbelievable. Of course, they did not know that it was because of the divine sword art. The divine sword art was mainly to enhance one's soul power and then use it to launch an attack. After this period of cultivation, Lu Ming had already cultivated the divine sword art to the point where it was invisible. With a roar, the divine sword art was activated and directly attacked the opponent's soul. It was invisible and incomparably mysterious. The three young men from the Silver Dragon Valley were attacked by Lu Ming. Their spirit deities were shaken and they even had hallucinations. They thought that they had seen a primitive giant beast. Their bodies and minds were shaken and they sat on the ground. After a while, the three youths came to their senses. "Damn it, Lu Ming, what kind of sorcery did you use just now? I'm going to cripple you." The youth in the middle roared, his face flushed red. The other two youths were about the same. It was too embarrassing. They were scared to the point of sitting on the ground by Lu Ming's roar. If this spread out, they would definitely become a laughingstock. They blamed it all on Lu Ming. The three youths roared as their true essence erupted and attacked Lu Ming. "Get lost." Lu Ming roared again. This roar not only contained the attack of the divine sword technique, but also a powerful true essence. The true essence formed a storm and bombarded out. After reaching the martial emperor realm, the higher the grade of the spiritual body, the stronger the spiritual body. Even the spiritual body itself would be stronger and more condensed. For martial emperors, the increase of their cultivation was a combination of true origin and spiritual body. Therefore, true origin and spiritual body complemented each other. Otherwise, a person with a high-level spirit body wouldn't be so strong. The higher the level of the spirit body, the higher the level of the true essence. With Lu Ming's current cultivation level and medium earth spirit body, he could easily crush his opponent with his true essence. As soon as the three Silver Dragon Valley youths rushed out, they were hit by the divine sword skill. Their spiritual spirits shook violently and they felt a tearing pain. Then, Lu Ming's genuine vitality hit them, causing them to howl and spit out blood. Their bodies flew backward and fell heavily on the ground. The onlookers sucked in a breath of cold air, shocked beyond words. The previous shout had caused the three Silver Dragon Valley youths to sit on the ground. Now, with a shout, the three of them were seriously injured and spat out blood. This was too shocking. Lu Ming glanced at the three of them coldly and strode into the passage. After Lu Ming had gone far away, the three Silver Dragon Valley youths struggled to get up. Their eyes were filled with fear and they walked into the passage. After walking through the passage, there was a counter at the entrance of the passage and someone was guarding it. This was the place where the true guards were stationed. You need to pay 200,000 medium primordial stones to enter the floating platform. One of the guards at the counter said. Lu Ming nodded and paid 200,000 medium primordial stones. Then, he stepped into the floating platform and looked forward. A shocking scene greeted Lu Ming's eyes. This place was in the middle of a few snowy mountains, forming a huge kernel. The area was very wide. In front of him, there were stone platforms floating in the air. There were a total of 36 rows and each row was slanted upwards. Every 100 meters, there would be a stone platform floating in the air. Just like that, there were 13 stone platforms that extended into the void. This was the floating platform. In short, there were a total of 36 rows and each row had 13 stone platforms. Each of them was 100 meters apart and extended into the void. At this moment, there were already people sitting cross-legged on some of the stone platforms. Each row could only allow one person to enter at a time. Lu Ming saw that some people were sitting cross-legged on the third stone platform, some were sitting cross-legged on the fourth stone platform, and some were sitting on the fifth stone platform. There were dense inscriptions on the stone platforms that covered the people who were sitting cross-legged. Some people stood below and watched. It was said that the floating platform was created by the founder of the Divine Dragon Valley. It was very magical. When one sat on it, their spirit would escape into the endless void. There was a battlefield created by the founder of the Divine Dragon Valley. There were heavenly law mutated beasts formed by the heavenly law. When martial artists fought with them, they could comprehend the heavenly law, domain, and even law. Every time one ascended a stone platform, the difficulty would increase accordingly. Lu Ming walked forward casually. A few young men were watching. At this moment, all of them looked toward Lu Ming with sharp gazes. At this moment, the 3 young men from the Silver Dragon Valley who were injured by Lu Ming's shout earlier walked in. They came to the side of the few young men and whispered a few words to them. The sharpness in the few young men's eyes intensified. A young man with silver robes said coldly, "This Lu Ming is getting more and more arrogant with the support of the valley leader of the Cloud Dragon Valley. I'll teach him a lesson." After saying this, he walked toward Lu Ming. "So you're Lu Ming?" The young man with silver robes said coldly. "That's right, what's the matter?" Lu Ming replied casually, "You're here to cultivate too, but your cultivation is only at the 3rd layer martial dominator realm. I'm afraid you won't be able to pass a few platforms. It's a waste of the origin stones." The young man in the silver robe said with a mocking tone. "I'm only able to pass a few platforms. I don't think it's a waste of the origin stones. Besides, you're only at the 5th layer martial dominator realm. I doubt you'll be able to pass more platforms than me," Lu Ming said calmly. "Not as many as you." "How funny, Lu Ming, I think you're being too full of yourself. You think you're so full of yourself just because you're a little talented? There are countless geniuses in this world, and there are plenty of people in the Dragon Valley who are more talented than you." The young man in the silver robe mocked. "Oh, does that mean you're quite talented? Do you dare to bet with me with your cultivation of the 5th layer martial dominator realm?" Lu Ming said. "Bet? What kind of bet?" The young man's eyes flickered. "Let's bet on who will be able to reach a higher platform," Lu Ming said. "You want to bet with me? Sure, I accept. What's the bet?" The young man in the silver robe accepted without hesitation. There were a total of 13 platforms that extended into the sky. Each of them corresponded to a domain. The first platform was equivalent to a first-grade domain, the second platform was equivalent to a second-grade domain, and so on. Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the 3rd layer martial dominator realm, with a 3rd-grade domain. Regardless of how powerful his domain was, it would be impressive if he could reach the 4th platform. However, the young man in the silver robe had a 6th-grade domain despite his cultivation of the 5th layer martial dominator realm, allowing him to reach the 6th platform. Unless Lu Ming could reach the 7th stone platform, he would not be able to defeat him. Chapter 1498. In his opinion, Lu Ming must have never been to the sky-reaching floating platform before and did not know the mysteries within. That was why he made the bet with him. "How about we bet 500,000 contribution points?" Lu Ming said. 500,000 contribution points. The silver-robed young man's heart skipped a beat. Then, flames of greed appeared in his eyes as he said, "Okay, I agree." Then, the silver-robed young man shouted, "Junior brothers, senior brothers, please bear witness." As soon as the silver-robed young man shouted, the young men below the stone platform all looked over. Some of them walked over. Those who were with the silver-robed young man also walked over. "What witness?" someone asked. "Everyone, this person is Lu Ming." The silver-robed young man pointed at Lu Ming. "Lu Ming. It's him. His Lu Ming." Some people blurted out. Now, Lu Ming was very famous. At the entrance of the Cloud Dragon Valley, he killed Yin Feng in front of the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley, causing the Valley Master of the Silver Dragon Valley to be injured. Later on, the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley even killed a few wardens of the mission hall because of this matter. All of this was because of Lu Ming. Lu Ming's name was known by many people. At this moment, they all looked at Lu Ming curiously. "Junior brother Lu Ming wants to make a bet with me. Let's bet on who will be able to reach the higher stone platform. The bet is 500,000 contribution points. Is that right, junior brother Lu Ming?" the silver-robed young man asked. "What?" His words shocked everyone and they looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Lu Ming actually wanted to make a bet with the silver-robed youth. The bet was 500,000 contribution points. With Lu Ming's cultivation, wouldn't he lose to the silver-robed young man for sure? Stepping onto the stone platform didn't depend on one's combat strength. It depended on one's domain. The higher the level of one's domain, the stronger one would be able to step onto the higher stone platform. Could it be that this Lu Ming had so many contribution points that he had nowhere to spend them? The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up slightly. This silver-robed young man was afraid that Lu Ming would go back on his word, so he found these people to be witnesses. However, this was exactly what Lu Ming wanted. That's right, that's true. Lu Ming nodded. All right, Lu Ming agrees. We can be witnesses. A young man who was with the silver-robed young man blurted out. The others also nodded, indicating that they could bear witness. Junior brother Lu Ming, let's begin, said the silver-robed young man. He was rather impatient and was afraid that an undue delay would lead to trouble. Sure. Lu Ming smiled. The two of them chose 2 stone platforms that were close to each other. There was no one else on these stone platforms. Bang! Bang! The two of them jumped onto the first stone platform almost at the same time. Then, the two of them sat down cross-legged at the same time. The stone platform glowed and dense inscriptions appeared, covering the two of them. The first function of these inscriptions was to allow one's mind to escape into the unpredictable void. The second function was to prevent others from attacking. It had a defensive function. Although the Dragon God Valley had a rule that no one was to attack others on the floating platform, or else they would be severely punished, there might be people who would take the risk. Therefore, these inscriptions played a very good defensive role. When the inscriptions covered Lu Ming's body, he felt his mind, or rather his soul, being drawn out of his body. The space around him flashed past like a flickering light. In the next moment, Lu Ming realized that he had arrived at a chaotic land. All around them was a vast expanse of boundless emptiness. However, Lu Ming realized that the aura of the great Tao here was extremely rich. If he cultivated here, the effect would be at least 10 times better. Is this the heavenly battlefield that the founder of the Dragon God Valley opened up? Lu Ming thought to himself. Roar. Suddenly, there was a loud roar and a strange beast appeared in front of him. This strange beast was filled with the aura of the great Tao. A heavenly beast. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Roar. 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 Then, there were loud roars one after another as heavenly beasts appeared one after another. These heavenly Tao beasts were in different forms. Some were in the form of tigers, some were wolves, and some were snakes. The one thing that was similar was that there was a golden mark in the middle of their eyebrows. Heavenly Tao mark. Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly. In the heavenly battlefield, as long as one killed these strange beasts, the heavenly Tao mark in the middle of their eyebrows would be absorbed by the cultivator, and they would be able to comprehend the heavenly Tao and domain. It was extremely magical. There were loud roars and at least 5 to 6 heavenly Tao mutated beasts pounced on Lu Ming. Condense. The primal chaos domain spread out and then began to shrink. In the end, it turned into a long spear that Lu Ming held in his hand. In the heavenly battlefield, because one's mind could enter it, all weapons and true yuan couldn't be used. The only thing that could be used was the domain. Whoosh. The long spear pierced out and a spear light pierced through the vast space, killing a heavenly beasts. Then, the long spear swept out and 5 or 6 heavenly beasts were defeated at the same time. The heavenly beasts were defeated and turned into heavenly Tao energy. However, the heavenly Tao mark in the middle of their eyebrows emitted a golden light and flew into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Roar. 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 The roars were like thunder as more heavenly beasts appeared and charged towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming held the long spear formed by the primal chaos domain and charged forward. The long spear trembled and spear shadows flashed. More than 10 spear lights pierced through the air and killed more than 10 heavenly beasts. This was the first floating platform. The heavenly beasts that appeared were equivalent to first-grade domains. To Lu Ming, this wasn't difficult at all. Soon, Lu Ming killed a total of 108 heavenly beasts. At this time, no more heavenly beasts appeared. At this time, Lu Ming felt his body tighten. In the next moment, he discovered that he had returned to his physical body on the heavenly floating platform. The heavenly Tao mark. Lu Ming felt and found that there were 108 golden heavenly Tao marks in his mind. Wonderful, this is really wonderful. Lu Ming sighed. Then, he closed his eyes and refined these heavenly Tao marks. His body emitted a faint golden light. On the floating platform next to Lu Ming, the silver-robed youth also opened his eyes. He glanced at Lu Ming and sneered. He also began to refine the heavenly Dao marks. 10 minutes later, the silver-robed youth stood up. The inscriptions covering his body automatically withdrew and disappeared. Looking disdainfully at Lu Ming, who was still refining, the silver-robed youth took a step forward and crossed 100 meters. He appeared on the second floating platform and sat down cross-legged. Similarly, on the second floating platform, numerous inscriptions appeared and covered his body. And Lu Ming continued to sit on the first floating platform. Half an hour later, Lu Ming felt that the heavenly Dao marks he had just obtained had been completely refined. The primal chaos domain has indeed strengthened. It's comparable to 7 days of cultivation. Lu Ming revealed a smile. He was shocked by the effects of the heavenly floating platform. Chapter 1499. Then, let's continue. Lu Ming stood up and the inscriptions on his body automatically retreated. Haha, this Lu Ming is going to lose for sure. The first floating platform took so long and he actually dared to make a bet with senior brother Yincheng. His simply giving senior brother Yincheng contribution points. 500,000 contribution points. I'm so jealous. Senior brother Yincheng has earned a lot of contribution points. Below, some people looked at Lu Ming and mocked him. Lu Ming smiled faintly and couldn't be bothered with them. The bet between him and the silver-robed youth was about who could step onto the higher floating platform, not who would take the shorter time. This was his first time here and he had refined the heavenly Dao imprint until there wasn't a single trace left. Naturally, it took him more time. Then, Lu Ming took a step forward and stepped onto the second floating platform. He sat down cross-legged. The second floating platform glowed and the inscription shrouded Lu Ming again. In the next moment, he was back in the land of chaos. Roar! Roar! Just like last time, heavenly law mutated beasts appeared one after another. However, this time, there were 2 golden heavenly Dao imprints between their eyebrows. 2 golden heavenly Dao imprints meant that the heavenly law mutated beasts here had the strength of a grade 2 domain. Roars rang out as the heavenly law mutated beasts pounced towards Lu Ming. The primal chaos domain once again formed a long spear. Lu Ming held the long spear and charged forward. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Spear light swept out and the heavenly law mutated beasts were killed one after another. Soon, all 108 mutated beasts were killed by Lu Ming and he reappeared on the floating platform. He took a glance and saw that the silver-robed youth was already on the third floating platform. Lu Ming ignored him and closed his eyes to refine the heavenly Dao imprint. The number of heavenly Dao imprints on the second floating platform was double that of the first one. An hour later, when Lu Ming had finished refining the heavenly Dao imprint, he felt that the primal chaos domain had increased by another level. Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared on the third floating platform. The third floating platform was a Heaven Dao variant that had appeared after entering the vast primal chaos. It had 3 golden marks on its forehead, and was equivalent to a third-grade personal domain. In terms of level, it was on par with Lu Ming's personal domain. However, Lu Ming's domain was the primal chaos domain, the emperor of thousands of domains. There were very few in the world that could be compared to the primal chaos domain. Even though they were of the same level, Zhongxian would still be able to crush Zhongxian. Not long after, the 108 heavenly Dao beasts were killed, and Lu Ming began to refine the heavenly Dao imprint. Below, some people continued to discuss. This Lu Ming's talent is not bad. He can fight above his level. I estimate that he can reach the 4th floating platform, but that's definitely his limit. That's right. The 3rd floating platform has 108 heavenly law mutant beasts that are equivalent to rank 4 domain beasts. This Lu Ming will be lucky if he can kill 10 of them. Senior brother Yincheng's domain has already broken through to rank 6. Last time, he was able to kill 50 heavenly law mutant beasts on the 6th floating platform. There's no suspense in this bet. A few youths who were with Yincheng spoke one after another. Look, senior brother Yincheng is going to the 5th floating platform. Someone shouted. Sure enough, at this moment, Silver City stood up, took a step forward and appeared on the 5th floating platform. He turned to look at Lu Ming, who was still on the third floating platform. The corners of his lips curled into a cold smile as he sat down cross-legged. This time, it took Lu Ming 2 hours to refine the heavenly Tao imprint. He could feel that his primal chaos domain was approaching the peak of rank 3 domain. Lu Ming stood up and took a step forward. He stepped onto the 4th floating platform and sat down cross-legged. This brat is on the 4th floating platform. Watch carefully. In less than half a minute, he will be blasted off the floating platform. One of Yincheng's companions said disdainfully. Very quickly, half a minute passed. Lu Ming's figure was as steady as a rock. He can only hold on for a while longer. At most, he will be blasted off the platform in 3 minutes. The youth who spoke previously blushed and said awkwardly. Very quickly, 3 minutes passed. Lu Ming's figure was still as steady as a rock. He definitely won't last more than 10 minutes. The youth gritted his teeth. 10 minutes later, Lu Ming's body emitted a golden radiance. It was obvious that he had killed all the heavenly Tao beasts and was beginning to refine the heavenly Tao imprint. That's fast. He killed all the beasts on the 4th floating platform in 10 minutes. That's really fast. Yincheng used 15 minutes just now. Who was the one who kept saying that Lu Ming would be blasted off the platform? The other youths started to discuss among themselves. They were extremely shocked. Some of them even looked at the youth who spoke previously. That youth's face was as red as a pig's liver. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He only passed the 4th floating platform by luck. He definitely won't pass the 5th. The youth gritted his teeth. Everyone looked on as time passed slowly. After a period of time, Yincheng suddenly stood up on the 5th platform. That brat should be blasted off the platform. The corner of Yincheng's mouth curled into a cold smile as he looked behind him. His expression changed when he saw Yincheng. You actually passed the 4th floating platform. Consider yourself lucky. However, the 5th floating platform is your limit. Yincheng snorted coldly. He took a step forward and stepped onto the 6th floating platform. He entered the heavenly Tao battlefield to fight the heavenly Tao beasts. Below the floating platforms, everyone watched quietly. After about 20 minutes, Yincheng, who was sitting cross-legged on the 6th floating platform, suddenly trembled. Inscriptions flashed, and Yincheng's body flew out of the floating platform and landed at the bottom of the platform. Senior brother Yincheng, how many level 6 heavenly Tao beasts did you kill this time? The youth who kept saying that Lu Ming would be blasted off the platform hurriedly asked. 68. Yincheng replied. 68. That's 18 more than the last time. Congratulations, senior brother. It won't be long before you pass the 6th floating platform. The youth quickly flattered. Millimeter. Yincheng smiled faintly, revealing a trace of complacency. He then looked at Lu Ming on the 4th floating platform. At this moment, Lu Ming stood up and took a step forward. He stepped onto the 5th floating platform and sat down cross-legged. Inscriptions immediately covered his body. HMPH, a level 3 realm. Stepping onto the 5th floating platform is his limit. Yincheng said coldly. That's right. He definitely won't be able to kill 10 level 5 heavenly Tao beasts. He will be blasted off the platform. The youth from before said. However, time passed. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Lu Ming was still sitting cross-legged on the floating platform. The youth had completely shut up. Yincheng's expression also turned cold. In the heavenly Tao battlefield, Lu Ming was fighting. In the heavenly Tao battlefield on the 5th platform, the heavenly Tao beasts gathered were equivalent to level 5 realms. Level 5 realm heavenly Tao beasts were extremely powerful. They pounced with shocking might. However, the chaotic domain was still able to suppress these beasts. Chapter 1500. Whoosh. With a flash of the spear, a level 5 heavenly lore exotic beast was killed. With another sweep, another level 5 heavenly lore exotic beast was sent flying, crashing into several other heavenly lore exotic beasts. As the spear light swept through, one heavenly lore exotic beast after another was defeated by Lu Ming. After an unknown period of time, When the last heavenly law exotic beast was killed, Lu Ming's consciousness returned to the fifth floating platform. He opened his eyes and casually glanced at Silver City, who had appeared below the floating platform. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth as he began to refine the heavenly Tao imprint. After a few hours, the heavenly Tao imprint was refined. Lu Ming stood up and stepped onto the sixth floating platform. Below the floating platform, Silver City's expression was extremely gloomy. Even if this Lu Ming is lucky enough to step onto the sixth floating platform, what can he do? Senior brother Silver City killed 68 heavenly law exotic beasts. This Lu Ming definitely won't be able to kill 68. It was that young man again, gritting his teeth. Silver City's expression was cold and indifferent. He didn't say anything as he stared at Lu Ming, who was sitting cross-legged on the sixth floating platform. He couldn't wait for Lu Ming to be sent flying off the floating platform. Unfortunately, he was disappointed. Lu Ming's figure didn't move at all. On the sixth floating platform, Lu Ming was fighting with all his might in the Heavenly Law battlefield. The Heavenly Law exotic beasts here were even more frightening. Every Heavenly Law exotic beast was equivalent to a level 6 domain expert, while Lu Ming was only a level 3 domain expert. There was a difference of 3 levels. Furthermore, there were 108 Heavenly Law exotic beasts surrounding Lu Ming. The pressure on Lu Ming had truly increased. Bam! His spear swept across, sweeping across a Heavenly Law exotic beast. This Heavenly Law exotic beast was only sent flying, but it wasn't seriously injured. It roared, got up, and charged at Lu Ming. Whoosh! Lu Ming's chaotic domain spear pierced a Heavenly Tao mutated beast. Halfway through, it was stuck by the mutated beast. A level 6 Heavenly Law exotic beast is indeed very strong. Lu Ming's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Immediately after, Lu Ming took a step forward and charged towards the strange beast like a bolt of lightning. His leg, wrapped in the chaotic domain, stomped heavily on the strange beast's head. Lu Ming stomped down on the strange beast. Then, his long spear suddenly pierced through the strange beast's body. The long spear shook, and the strange beast collapsed. The first level 6 exotic beast was killed. Roar, roar, roar. With thunderous roars, more and more beasts pounced on Lu Ming. The long spear of the primal chaos domain swept out and sent a group of mutated beasts flying. Then, it stared at one of the mutated beasts and killed it in the same way as before. It's too slow to kill like this. Although I can slowly wear them down, I should be able to pass the 6th floating platform in the end. However, it will take a long time. Lu Ming frowned. He was thinking of ways to strengthen the power of the primal chaos domain. Weapons could not be brought in here, and there was no Zhenyuan in the area. As such, there were many battle techniques that could not be used. Thus, one could only rely on one's dominion. Wait, 13 strikes of storing power. Suddenly, Lu Ming had an idea. Although 13 strikes of storing power was a domain-type martial technique, the spear domain martial technique, it was more about the technique of exerting force. The technique of the spear and the technique of exerting force in the spear domain could allow one to erupt with 2, 5, or even 10 strands of force at the same time, increasing one's might greatly. Then, could he use this technique of exerting force in the primal chaos domain? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He did as he thought of it. Buzz! Lu Ming's long spear shook and struck a Heavenly Tao mutated beast, sending it flying. No, that's not right. Lu Ming muttered. That strike earlier did not erupt with much force. After all, the primal chaos domain is different from the spear domain. However, the primal chaos domain contains the spear domain. It will definitely work. Let's give it another try. Lu Ming kept thinking. The long spear in his hand did not stop, continuously striking. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The long spear of the primal chaos domain kept striking, sending the Heavenly Tao mutated beasts flying. Lu Ming kept experimenting. Time passed quickly. Soon, 2 hours had passed. However, Lu Ming was still fighting with the Heavenly Tao mutated beasts. Below the floating platform, a group of people was waiting in astonishment. What's going on? Lu Ming is on the 6th floating platform. There's no golden light on his body. He should still be fighting with the mutated beasts in the heavenly battlefield. Why hasn't it ended after 2 hours? That's right. What's going on? If he failed, he would have been sent flying. It's very likely that he's holding on. He bet 500,000 contribution points with Silver City. He doesn't want to lose, so he gritted his teeth and held on to kill more mutated beast. That should be the case. Many people guessed. Silver City clenched his fists tightly. He was nervous. This was related to his 500,000 contribution points. In the heavenly battlefield, Lu Ming was still fighting with the mutated beasts. Buzz! With a jolt of his spear, he struck one of the mutated beasts, causing a violent burst of energy to burst forth. Bang! The beast suddenly exploded and vanished into thin air. It's a success. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The spear just now was a success. In an instant, 4 types of force erupted. The force was shocking, and it defeated the heavenly Dao mutated beast. Swoosh! The 4 types of force went through the tip of the spear and pierced the mutated beast's body. The mutated beast was directly pierced and killed. 4 types of force. That's enough. A smile emerged on Lu Ming's face. The long spear moved freely. As long as the mutated beasts were swept, smashed, or pierced, they would die in one blow. In just a few minutes, all 108 mutated beasts were killed by Lu Ming. On the 6th floating platform, Lu Ming's body suddenly emitted a golden light. Lu Ming had passed the 6th floating platform. Damn it! Silver City clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were incomparably gloomy. How could this be? Silver City's other companions shouted in disbelief. Lu Ming was only a level 3 domain expert. It was unbelievable that he could pass the 6th floating platform. This had never happened before in the history of Dragon God Valley. Senior brother Silver City, what should we do? Are we really going to give Lu Ming 500,000 contribution points? A young man asked Silver City. 500,000 contribution points. He's dreaming. Silver City gritted his teeth and muttered. 500,000 contribution points was equivalent to the price of half a sacred weapon. Right now, he only had slightly more than 500,000 contribution points. How could he possibly give them to Lu Ming? But, a young man hesitated. H, junior brothers, did Lu Ming injure you before? Then I'll have to trouble you again. Silver City looked at the 3 young men who were injured by Lu Ming's roar and said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, 3 types of force silently struck the 3 young men. The 3 of them groaned and blood flowed out from the corner of their mouths. I've injured your internal organs, so you'll have to maintain this injury. Do you understand? Silver City instructed. Yes, yes. The 3 young men quickly nodded. Although they were angry, they didn't dare to disobey. H, do you think it's that easy to get my contribution points? Chapter 1501. On the 6th floating platform, Lu Ming continued to refine the Heaven Pathmark. After refining the Heaven Pathmark, Lu Ming opened his eyes and smiled. Peak level 3. Lu Ming muttered. His chaotic territory had finally reached peak level 3. The 200,000 origin stones were worth it. However, it wasn't easy to break through to level 4. A level 4 territory was equivalent to a middle martial king's territory. There was a hurdle that wasn't easy to cross. Lu Ming stood up and looked at the 7th floating platform. He then turned around and looked at Silver City. Lu Ming didn't continue to go up. Instead, he took a step forward and landed below the floating platform. He could continue to go up the floating platforms as long as he paid the origin stones. He had to get the 500,000 contribution points from Silver City first. I passed the 6th floating platform, but you didn't. I've won the bet. Hand over 500,000 contribution points. Lu Ming looked at Silver City and said, 500,000 contribution points. What 500,000 contribution points? Silver City pretended to be dumb as he sneered. Lu Ming frowned. Silver City was obviously trying to renege on the bet by pretending to be dumb. Are you trying to act dumb? Hehe, There are many people here who can be witnesses, Lu Ming said. Witnesses? Why didn't I hear it? I didn't hear it either. A few of Silver City's companions said coldly. Did you hear it? Silver City's cold eyes looked at the others. Many people's faces changed and they looked fearful. Silver City was Yin Feng's cousin. Silver City's grandfather was the younger brother of Silver Dragon Valley Master. In Silver Dragon Valley, he had a strong backing and many people didn't dare to offend him. Although some people didn't like Silver City's character, they looked away and didn't say anything. Hee hee. Lu Ming sneered as a ray of light flashed in his eyes. I can be a witness. Just now, the two of you did make a bet. It was 500,000 contribution points. At this moment, a timid voice sounded. Swoosh. His words caused Blizzard Silver City and his companions to look towards the source of the voice. Lu Ming also looked over. It was a young woman. Her figure was petite, but her skin was fair. Her appearance was delicate and pretty, and she was extremely cute. At this moment, when Silver City's gaze swept over them, their faces turned pale, their bodies trembled, and they could not help but retreat. Little girl, what did you say? Yin Cheng said coldly. I don't want to lie. You two did make a bet just now. Although the young woman was very scared, she still spoke. Good, very good. The sharpness in Yin Cheng's eyes intensified. Murderous intent filled the air. What? When others speak the truth, you want to kill them. This is the style of the Silver Dragon Valley, just like Yin Feng. Looks like I have to report this to the Dragon Punishing Palace. Lu Ming sneered and took a step forward, standing in front of the young woman. Also, 500,000 contribution points. Hurry up and hand it over. Lu Ming continued. Haha, Lu Ming, you're really naive. I was just casually mentioning the bet before, but you took it seriously. We didn't even sign anything. Yin Cheng quibbled. So, everyone in the Silver Dragon Valley is like this. From top to bottom, they're all despicable people. What a disgrace to the Divine Dragon Valley. In my opinion, the Silver Dragon Valley is purely a malignant tumor of the Divine Dragon Valley. Sooner or later, it will be removed. Lu Ming shook his head and sneered. How dare you? Who do you think you are? How dare you criticize the matters of the Silver Dragon Valley? A young man beside Yin Cheng shouted. Lu Ming, you're the lawless one. You have no respect for the law and you're harming your fellow disciples. Previously, you injured 3 of my junior brothers for no reason. I'm going to settle this with you. Yin Cheng shouted and pointed at the 3 young men beside him. The 3 young men looked pale and their auras were weak. The coldness in Lu Ming's eyes intensified. Previously, his shout had injured the 3 of them, but it was only a minor injury. With the strength of their spiritual bodies, those minor injuries would have healed by now. But now, they looked as if they were seriously injured. It was obvious that they did it on purpose. Lu Ming, you injured the disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley for no reason. How should you be punished? Now, hand over 500,000 contribution points as medical fees. Yin Cheng shouted in a domineering manner. Who are you? How dare you injure the disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley? At this moment, a cold voice resounded from a floating platform. A figure floated down. It was a cold-looking young man. Senior brother Ding Mao. Yin Cheng and the others were overjoyed when they saw the young man. They quickly greeted him. Senior brother Ding Mao, it's Lu Ming. He injured the 3 disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley for no reason. I'm going to ask him to pay for the medical fees, Yin Cheng said. Lu Ming. When Ding Mao heard Lu Ming's name, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Murderous intent flashed across his eyes as he said coldly, how can he be so lawless just because he's the direct disciple of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master? Ask him to pay for the medical fees and bring him to the Dragon Punishing Palace. Yes. Yin Cheng replied. He was emboldened. He stared at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, hurry up and hand over 500,000 contribution points. Follow us to the Dragon Punishing Palace. Some people at the side sighed. The Silver Dragon Valley had gone too far. Originally, Yin Cheng and Lu Ming had made a bet of 500,000 contribution points. In the end, Lu Ming won. Not only did Yin Cheng not pay up, but they even pinned a big hat on Lu Ming. They wanted Lu Ming to hand over 500,000 contribution points and bring Lu Ming to the Dragon Punishing Palace. How despicable. However, they could only think about it in their hearts. So what if they were despicable? Who asked Yin Cheng and the others to be so powerful? What would Lu Ming do? Hand over or not? Many people looked at Lu Ming and guessed what Lu Ming would do. Haha. Lu Ming wore a calm expression, but the flicker in his eyes grew sharper. If you don't hand over 500,000 contribution points today, don't even think about leaving this place, Lu Ming said in a cold tone. The hearts of many shuddered. How arrogant. Lu Ming ignored the nonsense that the Silver City had said earlier. He wanted the Silver City to hand over 500,000 contribution points. Ding Mao's figure emitted a cold glow as he said, "This guy is too stubborn. Take him down first." Bang! 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 Yin Cheng and the others unleashed powerful auras. Lu Ming, how dare you, kneel down at once. Yin Cheng yelled as he unleashed his cultivation and threw a punch in Lu Ming's direction. Yin Cheng's cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th layer martial dominator realm, while his domain had reached the 6th layer, granting him a shocking strength. The other two young men were 5th layer martial dominators with powerful strength too. You're the one kneeling down. Lu Ming's gaze turned cold. Two rays of black light pierced out like divine swords, entering Silver City's body and bombarding his soul. After cultivating for a period of time, Lu Ming's godly sword technique had become extremely shocking. 8. Chapter 1502. Bang! Lu Ming lashed out with his palm, causing the chaotic domain to form a giant palm print that crushed onto Yin Cheng's figure. Following a thud, Yin Cheng immediately dropped to his knees before Lu Ming. Previously, he had asked Lu Ming to kneel down, but now, he had knelt down himself. Following this, Lu Ming threw out two punches in succession. The terrifying force sent the other two young men flying, causing them to vomit mouthfuls of blood. At that instant, two of the young men with cultivation of the 5th layer martial dominator realm from the Silver Dragon Valley were sent flying, while the last one knelt before Lu Ming. The others nearby were dumbfounded. Lu Ming had grown stronger. His strength was even stronger than when he had killed Yin Feng. How shocking. Was he really a cultivator from a desolated island? He was unbelievably strong. They finally knew why the valley leader of the Cloud Dragon Valley had recruited Lu Ming as his disciple. The valley leader had recognized Lu Ming's talent. Buzz. At that instant, a shocking aura burst out from Ding Mao's body, causing a terrifying pressure to crush Lu Ming's figure. Bang! It felt like a huge mountain was crushing onto Lu Ming's figure. 7th layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming's heart shuddered slightly. Ding Maro was a 7th layer martial dominator realm expert, a high-ranked martial dominator realm expert. Lu Ming, how bold of you to injure 3 disciples of the Silver Dragon Valley, and now you're attacking again. This person should be punished severely. I'll cripple your cultivation and hand you over to the Dragon Punishing Palace. Ding Maro snapped coldly as he took a step forward. A dragon's roar could be heard from his body. Whoosh. Following this, Ding Maro grabbed at Lu Ming's figure with his claw. In the process, Ding Mao's palm and arm emitted a brilliant silver glow, as a layer of silver dragon scales appeared on them. 13 accumulating blows. A long spear of the martial dominator realm appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a shudder, the spear transformed into a beam of light that pierced forward. Ding! The spear stabbed into Ding Mao's palm. Lu Ming felt an incomparably terrifying energy surge toward the spear, causing it to bend slightly. But in an instant, 10 bursts of power erupted from the long spear, forming an incomparably sharp aura, wanting to pierce through Ding Mao's palm. Ding Mao's expression changed, and he roared, his terrifying power exploding out. Bang! Lu Ming was shaken by this force and his body flew out. He crashed heavily into the wall of a snow mountain at the edge, causing the snow mountain to explode with a rumbling sound. But at the same time, Ding Maro also took a step back. Seventh layer of the Martial Emperor realm, as expected of a high-level Martial Emperor. How powerful. With a thought, Lu Ming felt the blood and qi in his body churning. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This brat, killing intent exploded from Ding Mao's body. His hand was trembling slightly. The dragon scales on his palm had been shattered, and a trace of blood could be seen. His palm was almost pierced through by Lu Ming's spear. Kill. Roar. A dragon's roar could be heard. The silver glow on Ding Mao's body became even brighter, as if he had turned into a silver dragon, lunging at Lu Ming. At that instant, a giant hammer flew toward them from the entrance of the floating platform. The hammer tore through the air with a terrifying roar, aiming at Ding Mao. Ding Mao's expression changed greatly. He could not care less about Lu Ming. He let out a roar and threw his palms at the hammer. Dong! Dong! Ding Mao's palms collided with the hammer, resulting in two deafening vibrations. The terrifying sound waves caused many of the weaker cultivators to turn pale and retreat. Whoosh! The hammer was sent flying by Ding Mao, but Ding Mao himself was also sent flying back 100 meters. Only then did he land on the ground, his hands trembling. Bang! Bang! From the direction of the entrance, a tall and sturdy figure rushed over and caught the iron hammer. Every step he took caused the ground to rumble. How arrogant of the Silver Dragon Valley! A seventh-layer Martial Emperor dares to attack my junior brother, a third-layer Martial Emperor. How embarrassing! The bulky figure spoke with a booming voice. The person was a young man with a bulky figure, who was 2 heads taller than Lu Ming. His muscles bulged like a ferocious dragon. He was holding a giant hammer in his hand. However, the hammer was quite unique, as its handle was longer than a person's body, while its head was the size of a water jar, giving it a shocking appearance. Tian Chue, it's you. Ding Mao glanced at the young man and said coldly. Tian Chue, 7th senior brother. Lu Ming's heart shuddered. The Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley had only recruited 3 core disciples in the past 10 years. They were him, Xuening Xin, and Tian Chue, Lu Ming's 7th senior brother. It's your grandpa Tian Chue. Tian Chue let out a grin, before glancing at Lu Ming and saying, so you're my 9th junior brother, Lu Ming? Impressive. Thanks for your help, 7th senior brother. Lu Ming let out a smile. Haha, don't mention it. I'll teach these sons of bitches a lesson. Tian Chue let out a grin and glanced at Ding Mao with a ferocious look. Come, do you think you're that impressive? Let your grandpa Tian Chue have some fun with you. Tian Chue, if you dare to interfere, I'll take you down too. Ding Mao said coldly. How are you going to take me down? Tian Chue wore a ferocious look as his muscles bulged as he stomped his foot on the ground. Bang! Tian Chue's figure sprang toward Ding Mao like a ferocious dragon, while the giant hammer in his hand was swung in his direction. Rumble! It was as if the giant hammer had penetrated the rift, resulting in a terrifying gust of wind. A silver glow burst out from Ding Mao's body as a layer of silver dragon scales appeared on his body. A pair of silver gloves appeared on his hands. The gloves of a martial dominator weapon. Silver Dragon Battle Fists. Ding Mao uttered a roar as he lashed out with both fists. Dong! Ding Mao's fist collided with the giant hammer, causing the sky to tremble vigorously. Tian Chue and Ding Mao's figures shuddered violently as they were knocked backward. Following this, they uttered furious roars and collided with one another once again. Peak 5th layer Martial Dominator Realm with a 6th grade domain. Senior brother Tian Chue, such a powerful strength. Lu Ming observed from the side and was secretly astounded by Tian Chue's strength. A cultivation of the peak 5th layer Martial Dominator Realm with a 6th grade domain was able to fight against Ding Mao, who was a 7th layer Martial Dominator Realm. It seems like none of my senior brothers and sisters are easy to deal with. Lu Ming wore a smile. Kill, 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 kill. At that instant, Tian Chue let out a roar as he became more excited as the battle progressed. It was as if he had transformed into a ferocious dragon as he lashed out at Ding Mao with his giant hammer. Gradually, Ding Mao was at a disadvantage as he was suppressed by Tian Chue. Tian Chue has become stronger. The people of the Cloud Dragon Valley are indeed crazy. Indeed, It's too terrifying. That Xuening Xin, Lu Ming, and the Cloud Dragon Valley are all crazy. Their strength is too shocking. I've heard that none of the 9 disciples of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master are easy to deal with. The people of the Dragon Valley began to discuss among themselves. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.